Welcome to the Bigger Room podcast. I'm your host, Mel Cobian.
And I'm Jill Bender. And today we want to talk about the effort that you are putting into your business. Or more importantly, the results that you are not seeing with your business. We are talking about online business generally because that's what Mel and I are very familiar with, but this really kind of can go with anything in life. But we're going to just focus online business for this conversation. So are you doing enough? And we have talked about this topic in another way, in previous episodes, but it's so important. And since we're still in the beginning of the year, I feel it's a very good idea to address this again so you can keep 2025, you can keep those goals in sight, and you can really deep dive and make things happen this year. 2025 is your year, and let's make it happen. So first off, let's talk about the cold, hard truth. You want big results in your business. You think you're putting in max effort, but are you really? And I can speak from so many examples in the last 3 years of my own where I think I'm doing everything. I'm like, oh my God, the day came and gone. I got this much done. I was so busy. But then you're not seeing the results that you want to see. And luckily for me, because I've repeated this so many times that I can look at it and say, you know what? What the heck? You still allowed yourself to put in a very minimal effort. Wasted a lot of time, most likely, but it was minimal. So once I see that, I recognize it, and then I kick it into high gear. It's incredible how fast things change. I mean, it's so fast. My more recent example was December. It was a big time for TikTok Shop, right? We have everybody buying Christmas presents. December was great. I made a ton of money in November and December. By the time January came around, my son had been home for 2 weeks out of school. I'm super distracted by the holidays. It's a lot of effort for me to get my videos out. So I was getting out minimum 2, maybe 3 if it was a good day. January, you just see my numbers go down. And I continued through January, like, okay, 3 to 5. Weekend comes, 1 to 2. Just repeat the process. On Monday, I had to sit back. I'm like, okay, numbers are dropping. Yes, I understand it's January. People did all their shopping the previous 2 months. People are starting to save their money now in January because they're not going to be broke this year. Sales generally go down everywhere, but there's still people buying plenty of things. And that was just a story I was telling myself, right? We tell ourselves stories to make ourselves feel better because why do we want to hold ourselves accountable for poor results? So as my numbers were sinking, Monday I sat back. I'm like, you know what? You do need to do 5 to 6 videos, 5 to 9 videos. You want to see that number jump back up? We need to do the things. Like, we need to step it up. We need to work our butt off. This is just another example of what we think we're doing when we're not really doing it. Does that make sense, Mel?
It does make sense. Absolutely.
I'm guessing you don't see these things happen in your life, do you? A sticky note?
My sticky note. Yeah, I mean, to be upfront, right? It's when you're on the spectrum, it's different.
Well, here's the other thing is that you're just you in your own little world. Now you move to a city. You don't have, I'm guessing you guys don't have any friends there. It's just you and your wife.
Or loners.
You have very, very few distractions in life. Where I have a younger child. He's in sports. We are doing things all the time. And then of course I'm doing stuff during the day to get ready to do all the things with him. More excuses, moms. Do you hear this coming out of my voice? This is what we do. But it is a reality. We do have these things. But if you want the results, you work around the distractions. You figure it out. Here's calls that I'm on all the time. We do these live calls. Somebody's at work. Sorry, I can't unmute my thing, or I need my screen to be off because I'm at work. How much are you listening to the live call you're on when you're at work. You think you're listening, and you probably are mostly listening, but are you also checking on emails? Are you also kind of keeping an eye out for the person that might walk by to see that you're on some call that has nothing to do with work? There are other distractions that are happening, so you're listening and you're like, oh, this is valuable, but I'm at work. I can't take notes on this. I'm not going to write down that amazing tip I just heard from, from this live. Maybe during the live, they give you a couple actionable items for you. Like, yes, okay, I'm motivated. I just listened to this whole live. I'm so excited. I'm going to take action as soon as I get home. You get home, like we just talked about. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you have a spouse. You have other things that are going to happen when you get home. You might be really tired because you were just at work all day. You might have forgot what those steps were because, God forbid, you actually wrote them down. Let's say you do remember, oh, I can't do them now. I'll do them before I go to bed. Bedtime comes, you're probably going to forget, or you're going to be so tired that, there's tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. You think you did everything because you showed up for that live call and you half paid attention, but there's just max effort would have been pure focus. Max effort would have been taking notes. Max effort, have your camera on, be engaged. Maybe comment in the chat, and then obviously write down your actionable steps and do those steps, even if they're hard and uncomfortable. We have to get uncomfortable. So I am going to give you guys 5 tips to help you through this. But Mel.
Yes, Joe.
We look at other people and we're like, no, I'm just like them. I'm doing everything they're doing. Why is she making $50,000 a month and I'm making none? Or I'm making like 4,000. So that kind of comparison, I was thinking more along the lines of it's going to tie back into they most likely are putting in max effort behind the scene that you're not seeing. And you're just looking at them going, no, I'm making the same kind of videos as them. But what are they doing in the background? What kind of research are they doing? Stuff like that.
Well, I do when it comes to comparison, naturally people, compare their day one to somebody's day 100, and you never know what goes on behind the scenes. But you said something that actually, I don't know, like motivated me because I'm not a mom. And you are speaking to a lot of moms right now of like, look, I'm Joe. I'm a single mom and I do this, this, and that, and I fucking kick ass. And I can't tell you how many times people can compare their life, their identity to someone. Even like for me, it's definitely been thrown in my face in a lot of different ways. I can take it or leave it in however way I want, where it's like, oh, you're not a mom, so you don't get it. So there's so many ways that comparison can come into place, but at the end of the day, regardless, if you compare yourself, right, Joe, we have so much respect for each other that I would never say something like that. But you, if anything, how we're different. We work different. We think different. So we're so different. At the end of the
So
day,
different.
it's so different to sit here and say like, oh, I can't compare. Like, you can't compare apples and oranges. Like just because someone's not a mom, and then you're here telling the moms like, hey, you can still do it because of this, this, and that. So you can't sit there and compare your life to somebody else as to why it's working out for her because she doesn't have a kid and she doesn't have to do this and she doesn't have to pay for this. So there's that level of comparison of like they're different or their life is just different. That's why it works out for them. So there's that level of aspect that I think you actually painted today, and it's like, that's actually like I've definitely had people tell me that.
It's absolutely true, and that's along the lines I was thinking. We're definitely not saying don't look at other people, but look at other creators who have more success as inspiration. Use them, well, if they're doing it, what can I do extra to do it too? If I'm not seeing the same results, there is a reason. It is not luck of the draw. It is not the stinking algorithm. It is not the whoever taught you how to do whatever. Most likely didn't give you BS information. They gave you the right stuff. It's just you have to do more. You have to get uncomfortable and you have to, like, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be easy. None of it is easy. You want it,
No.
you're going to do it.
My favorite word the last year has been the word implementation. Taking action so that you get feedback, so that you can take more action. That's called implementation. It comes from feedback. How do you get feedback? You take action.
That's right. And if we want to go a little, well, you always call it woo
Woo woo. Yeah.
woo, yeah. Um, the universe, your God, your universe, whatever higher power that you believe in or you think is handling everything, they know when you're taking action. They
Oh
reward
yeah.
you when you're taking action. If you take action and you take max action, you will see things happen almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well, almost immediately. It's so crazy how fast it works. It's like you take action, the universe is like, hey, here's your reward.
Yeah, yeah, it's like be careful what you wish for because your wish is your command when you take action. The universe, guys, like it's like, oh, you want this, Joe? Here's the path. You just have to do this and it'll happen. And the thing is, the thing that we have to do, guys, it's not easy. It's probably the hardest thing you have to do, like getting over the fear of posting on social media, right, Joe? Jill has such a big personality. She's, Jill is jolly, but you may be a little bit more awkward like me. And so it's, again, like I'm not going to sit here and compare myself because I'm never going to have the persona Jill embodies, but I have that belief of what I want. And same for Jill, right? She's not going to go sit there and compare herself, but it's like, oh my God, is it crazy that you get whatever you want, but you have to do the scary thing?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Do the scary thing. The worst that can happen is death. Come on, guys.
And when Mel says it's hard, it's not
Hmm.
even stuff that's like hard like a calculus test. It's
Right.
hard because it
Right.
makes you uncomfortable and you just want to
It's
quit. Like your
emotions.
brain is like, yeah, your brain's like, nope, nope, that feels too weird. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And you have to push past that. And that is so hard for some people, and some people will never do it. Lots of people will never do it.
It reminds me, Jill, of when people complain that they have 200 views. It's like, let me see you get in front of 200 people right now. Oh, no, I could never, I could never. And it's like, interesting, huh?
So one of I have a crazy fear of, I don't like being the center of attention. And I may not come across that way while I'm on a camera and I'm in front of everybody. And I have been in front of millions and millions and millions of people on screen. But if you put me anywhere where I'm the center of attention, I don't even like to open birthday presents in front of people. I get very, very uncomfortable and
Shy.
nervous. And I just want them to look away. So I think it was freshman year or senior year or something, we took a speech class. Talk about having a heart attack. Every time I had to give a speech, I think we had to do three or four in front of the class. And it was, part of it was because I put minimal effort into preparing for the speech. So when you're not prepared, of course, that's even worse because now you're up there feeling stupid and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And everybody knows it. But I just don't want people looking at me. And so one of my uncomfortableness that I have just recently put into the vision board is that I want to be on stage talking in front of people. And I'm going to have a heart attack. Like I will be sweating. My
Mm,
hands will be so wet. I wouldn't even be able to hold a pencil. But I
mm.
want to overcome that fear. Like that sounds like a really huge, huge, huge fear
It
that I
sounds
want to master.
healing too, though, because it's like you know what's crazy is I hope that those who do listen understand that we are meant to share our light. You have a story to share. And I think the more people realize that we are here to let that pour through you, you're gonna get to what Joe's feeling right now. Joe feels called to share, to empower, to motivate on a stage because she has experienced so much and she's like, oh my God, I overcame this and I can see a stage where I'm just helping people so that they can experience their freaking divinity and do what they're meant to do. And guess what? One person activates, now that person goes and does the same thing. That's how humanity helps each other. But you have to understand that in order for your light to brighten, the reason it's so dim right now is because of fear of stuff that's not going to kill you. So I love where Jill's at because I feel the same way. I'm like, I just want to talk. I just want to mastermind. I just want to hang out in a circle and meditate. Like, I just want to hang out with people. It's like instead of a stage, I just want to be in a big circle, like freaking like almost like a cult, just
Yeah.
meditating. Yeah. And just helping people and empowering people. And it's like, damn, like how awesome is that? But you don't get there overnight, right? It's that journey of, oh my God, the rewards of helping people is amazing. And I feel called to do it louder. And Jill, I look forward to attending one of your seminars.
I want more than anything. I want that Dubai energy back. That
Yeah.
group of that
There's some
everybody was so elevated. It's
There's
insane.
something
Insane.
beautiful. It's so beautiful when you hang out with people and everybody's just, well, Pam. It's like nobody
Yeah.
says, oh, I'm scared of this. Nobody complains. It's just like, holy shit, let's empower each other. Holy shit, let's mastermind. Oh my God, let me just hold space and be in your life. Now let me be, and then that opens the other person, and then everybody shares their light, and it's like,
Yeah. The
fuck,
frequency between our group would just once we even like we were already elevated because we were just having the best year ever, but once we all came together and day after day and we started really forming those friendships and that frequency just like through the
yeah,
roof. Here, I do want to give you guys some actual steps so you can step up your game and maybe you can really admit to yourself, you know what? Jill is so right. Jill and Mel are so right. I have been kind of taking light steps around all this stuff. I'm ready to dive in. Like I'm going in. So how do I do it? Here's how you do it. First, you're going to audit your time. You want to take a look at how, like a good long look at how are you spending your day? Where can you clean things up? Where do you waste your time? Where can you improve your skills? Add in something that's going to get you closer to what you need to be doing. Number 2 is set clear priorities. Mally, you like to set clear priorities. Why don't you take this one?
what comes to mind is aligned action is the most important thing because similar to what we've said today is like why you're doing things are important. But if you're not aligned to the actions you have to take, you're never going to take them. So when we say like implementation is all you have to do, it has to be from that place of being in alignment with how you show up.
So
That's the most
so
important
what
thing.
you that is the most important thing. And so what you want to do is every day identify 1 to 3 impact tasks that are going to move your business forward. And you have to commit to them. These are non-negotiables. But what are 1 to 3 things that are huge? Not just like, oh, I'm going to make my reels today. Oh, I'm going to take 5 stories,
Hmm.
of myself. Those are just kind of like daily maintenance. That's really
Right.
what it became,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
daily maintenance. So you need to add in 1 to 3 that are they're gonna move that needle. So if that means if you are, let's say, if you were doing the Instagram reels, maybe that means you're gonna deep dive and find one really good reel that you can produce or whatever. But you're gonna put so much effort in. You're gonna change your dang clothes. You're gonna go stand in front of something cool. You're gonna go somewhere to get the best shots. Like it's going to be max effort. It's going to be an elevation up here.
Hmm.
I think number 3 is be relentless about execution. Don't just consume the information. Act on it immediately. You're sitting in that meeting, sitting at work, listening to it. Stop doing that. If you can't be fully in it, then listen to it later. And then write down the actions and do them. Don't put them off.
Yes.
Don't say, I'm going to do it when I get home. You got to do them right now. Do them.
What's crazy, if I may just add, is the number one question I get about everything is how. It's like, oh, I'll tell you the how. And then, but how? Well, I'll tell you the how. How many times do you have to ask how? Fucking do it. You know?
How many times? I mean, that's exactly it. We can go into it, but now we're just wasting time and we're just making excuses basically by having a longer
Yeah.
conversation about it when the answer is just fucking do it.
Just do it.
Okay, number 4, which we talked about this earlier, is push past comfort. To get the good golden nuggets, you have to get uncomfortable. Think about Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom. She's trying to save their life. The spikes are coming down. They're crushing Indy's hat. and she has to get uncomfortable and stick her hand in the hole with all the creepy bugs everywhere, and they're crawling up her arm and all this stuff, and she's getting uncomfortable to make something happen. That's kind of an extreme example, but that's it. Like, it's going to be that uncomfortable. Last one, hold yourself accountable. Whether it's by the best way that I have ever found success of holding myself accountable is to be, like we just talked about, be part of a community. If you're showing up with people that have like-minded, goals and thoughts, it is going to just elevate you up here. And it's going to remind you every day, oh my God, okay, I'm doing this. And like I was telling Mel before this call, I was on a call where this lady was teaching us a couple tips about YouTube. I was so excited about YouTube. I was on YouTube updating stuff on my page that I hadn't touched in years. I was optimizing different things. I even was talking to Mel about how we can do that for the Bigger Rune. If you're not following us on YouTube, it's a Bigger Room podcast on YouTube. Please follow us there. That's just, it brings you up. It makes you want to do stuff. So join a community. If you have to pay some money to be in the community, then pay the money. It is worth it. Until I paid, I never went anywhere. How about you? Like, you've paid for tons of things.
How
it's
many
the communities?
I asked yesterday, like on Threads, I was like, how many free things have you guys claimed only to never open them? And there was people responding like, oh yeah, I have things that are screaming my name. And like I was like, I'm guilty of it. Like, I've done it. You just aren't going to value free information. You value your time more. The time you don't get back. Money comes and goes, especially when you understand that it's energy. You can have a scarcity mindset about it, or you can be like, you know what? I am investing this energy because I know it's the way.
If this episode resonated with you or maybe gave you a little kick in the pants, please share it with someone who needs to hear it too. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Bigger Room podcast.